Yo, what is up, guys? Lockhart here with another Magicka Sorcerer PvP build. This is for the Dragon's Bone DLC. We've kind of changed course a little bit with our builds. We're trying some things out this patch. Usually when the patches come out, I usually, try to use the new sets of the patch and make a pretty decent build out of them. And this patch is definitely the best for that. There's two new sets in particular, which are absolutely phenomenal, and we're gonna get into those in just a second. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. All right. Okay, so what are we running? Some disclaimers. There's a couple of different ways to run this build, depending on what you're willing to farm and what you're not willing to farm. I'll go over a couple of different setups you can run, a dueling setup, as well as open world, small scale PvP setup. The sets won't change at all, just our skills will. This is really what distinguishes the two. Okay, so on a character sheet, that's what our stats look like completely unbuffed. We're a Dark Elf running Witch Mothers with Mage Mundus. Got a little bit of crit resistance this time. Usually on our builds we have 1200. This time I've decided to do away with Impin on the smaller pieces and try out Divines just for a little bit more burst. Our critical rating will go around 52% once our passives from our dark skill tree are buffed, and everything fully buffed. This is what everything looks like: 3200, 4100 max, 1400 recovery. That's perfectly fine because the sets we already make up for that. I'll explain in a minute. And I actually have some UI shit turned off. So hopefully I can talk about the build and know where to find this concurrently. And that's just not going to fucking happen because I don't know where this shit's at or how I even found it. Okay. Ability bar always show. Yeah, so I think this is right. I think this is everything. Then the buffs always show. Okay. Alright, that's everything. Nice. Didn't take too long. Okay. So let's hop into the sets real quick. We're running Asylum Destro. For this first build I'm going over, I'll kind of divide this video up in two sections. The first build is a Destro sword and board. And you have to have certain skills in order to run this Asylum Destro. The second build we'll be going over is a Destro Resto, which is much more common, setup. A lot of people don't feel comfortable playing sword and board and Destro on their sorcerer because it is quite harder. But that extra slot that it gives you from being able to do that is pretty invaluable when it comes to optimizing your damage and your sustain. But for now, we're gonna go over the dueling setup, assuming you'll play with the sword and board and Destro build. You can run two sets here. You can either run the Master's Inferno, or you can run the Asylum's Inferno. It doesn't matter if you're perfect or imperfect. This staff is pretty good overall. Probably have it Nurtome for more raw damage, more consistent damage. We're using poisons. We don't normally use poisons before. I mean, these are just the double dot poisons, and those are used to proc one of our sets. We'll go over in just a second. You can probably see it down there at the bottom of the screen. No surprise. We have enough dots on this build to where you don't need these if you do feel kind of scummy around the poisons. In duels, I don't like to run poisons. In open world or whatever, everything's free game. But we'll move on. Next, we have a back bar sword and board lich setup with a infused weapon damage enchantment on our back bar. This is Impin optimally. You probably want infused, but Impin infused about the same anyway. Have infused on the sword just to keep it 100% uptime on our full power buff. Two pieces we're running, of course, Valk and Scoria. We're running Divines on the smaller pieces, infused on the bigger pieces. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Scoria. You can run this on a sorcerer build. It's not impossible. Considering how many dots we actually do have on this build, we'll go over in a second. I think we have like 4 to 5 dots. So this pretty much has 100% uptime when you're using the poisons. in conjunction with the other abilities we're running. If you decide not to run poisons, there's about a 2-second downtime where you're not going to be able to, proc score. So that's about 36%, decrease in your uptime, which isn't too bad. But the poisons ensures that you'll pretty much have this all cool down every 5 seconds. And for the smaller pieces, I mean the jewelry pieces, we're running spell damage and the lich as well. We only proc a lich on our back bar. We don't have a 4-piece lich on our front bar. It's all on our back bar, just for the lich proc. When the lich procs, you pop your pots, your magic regen, and that's what gives you the most out of the lich. It's the best way to do it. When it comes to sustain, this is where you want to change things up. You don't want to change the skills all too much. We'll go over, and you definitely don't want to change the sets that we're running. If you're having stamina issues, put a stamina enchantment. If you're having magic issues, put a recovery or a cost reduction. This is where you want to change things, not the gear itself. So with that being said, I have like 3,000 hours on a sorcerer, so I'm able to manage my sustain pretty well for the most part. So I'm able to run all the spell damage glyphs on it. This build will struggle with stamina, unless you're running tripods. If you're running tripods, you don't have to worry about stamina. But you will run into stamina issues if you're not using them wisely. Luckily, I like running a sword board, and one heavy attack of that pretty much gives you half of your bar back almost. So that's a great way to keep your stamina up, since we have such a low max stamina, low recoup. The other set that we're running Calorian. I think is how you pronounce it. Calorian. We're going Calorian. Phenomenal set. I'm not sure if this is going to be nerfed anytime soon, or whether it's going to be, Magicka builds finally needed a good proc set, and this is it. Gives you spell critical, spell damage, spell critical. I wish those 2 spell criticals was max. This would be the best set hands down, but the big thing is the 5-piece. When you deal critical damage with a single target ability, Force Pulse counts as 3, by the way. Haunting Curse doesn't count. Dots don't count unless it's the initial tick. Your frag counts. Any AoE like Streak or Lightning Form or Lightning Flood, that shit does not count. So you're going to proc this with your Force Pulse, your frag, or the initial hit of a dot, essentially. Like I said, we're running Infuse on the bigger pieces, Divines on smaller pieces. So that about does it for the setup. We're going to go over the skills and how everything perfectly synergizes. Every skill on both of our bars isn't just there for shits and giggles for show. Like, everything has a purpose, especially our back bar. So let's go ahead and hop into that. So this is, keep in mind, duels. Have duels in your mind. If you don't like doing duels, then just skip to, I don't know, a minute and a half from now, 2 minutes. I'll put the link in the description if you're going to watch this. For duels, this is the setup you want. We have crystal frags. You just have to have frags. Well, I should probably drink with some others. But yeah, 17k frags when everything's procced. We have Haunting Curse. This is our dot we use to set up with our burst. You guys know what this is by now. We have Inner Light. This is preference for me. Since the set that we're using requires you to crit, Inner Lights, gives you a 10% crit chance, plus it gives you more raw damage, 5% more max. So definitely have this slotted. You don't need an execute in this build. You're not going to need it whatsoever. Force Pulse or Crushing Shock, totally preference to you. I myself like having a little bit more damage in my weave, so I'll go Force Pulse. We're using Flame Reach. This is our CC. Yeah, it is blockable. Yeah, it is roll dodgeable. I don't like using Rune Cage too much anymore unless you're going against like super decent people in duels. It feels clunky, like when you use it, there's always like a delay, and I just don't like the way the skill feels. I like to, everything to be on point and crisp, and Rune Cage is not one of those abilities. If they can like do something with the cast animation or the cast time, I don't know. If they can fix Rune Cage, I would definitely suggest running it here. Not only does Flame Reach, CC your opponents, pretty regularly. It's kind of hard to see coming unless they just get used to your rotations. But it also applies a dot, which helps with keeping Scoria up. We have Shooting Star. I always go with Shooting Star because there's a lot of vampires. Plus, we're running a Dark Elf, so that couples pretty well with Shooting Star. You use Ice Comet, does a little bit more damage, but definitely not against vampires. Back bar is super important. Dark Conversion is kind of questionable now. You really don't need it. You have enough sustain to do just fine, especially with the Lich proc, and if you use your potions at the right time. Since this is a super low, max stamina recovery build, you don't want to spam this. If you really need it, use it. You could even skill the Unchained passive in your champion tree. After you break a CC, pretty much your next stamina. Sorry, my regurgitation. Your next stamina ability is free to cast, essentially. I mean, you could do that, but definitely need both awards. 100% Harden and Harness. Now, Power Surge and Balance Storm, these have a lot more uses now. Power Surge is, of course, our major sorcery buff, as well as when we get crits. This build is based a lot around crits. It heals us. That coupled with Balance Storm. Balance Storm has like 4 purposes. Not only does it make us more tanky, it gives us major expedition for a short time in case we need to kite around structures or whatever. It does damage. Okay, it counts as a dot, which procs our scoria, and the damage it does can crit, which can heal you. So this skill is super important if you're not running a Destro Resto. Now, when we go over the Destro Resto build, this skill becomes less relevant. But as far as this build is concerned, this is probably your most important ability to keep up pretty much at all times. The backbar ultimate, really preference spell wall is pretty good. Greatest Storm Matra if you're running, in small groups or whatever, so they can activate the synergy and do more damage. Totally up to you guys and your situations, but spell wall's one of my favorites. Or if you just want more max in your back bar, just go with the Shooting Star. Okay, I mean, that about does it for the skills. If you're wanting to run a Destro Resto, the thing is, you have to have the Destruction Staff of Calorian, like the fire, whatever staff you want. You have to have the Destro Staff in order to run it, because you're going to run 5 Calorian on your front bar. So you're going to have like 4 body, or whatever, however you decide to mix and match them. Then your offensive bar, you're going to have the 5-piece, and then on your back bar, instead of having a sorting board, you're going to have a Resto Staff. So we're just going to put on, I have a fucking Resto Staff, whatever. We're just going to put on another staff. And so you'll proc Lich on your back bar, and that will still leave you 2 slots open for your Scoria. Now, I've tried Zons. I have Zons, but it's a really good set. It's probably one of the most OP proc set in the game right now. I would even suggest running this on stamina builds, and no lie. Especially for the Stamplars, apply a lot of pressure, Magicka Templars. But for Sorcerer, it's very predictable when this burst is going to come from, because it attaches a flamethrower to your opponent, and they don't break it. The damage does rack up pretty nicely, but it's very predictable. It's easy to see when a flamethrower is attached to you and just know when the burst is coming to be raised. So people go defensive, and it's a lot harder to burst people. They know what they're doing. Now, PvE, on the other hand, this is hands down the best single target set in the game. It's a fact. But as far as PvP is concerned, I guess it kind of depends on what you're running. DK has to be really good on. Stamplars and Maglars, all their slows, be really good. But as right now, Scoria just seems to be the way to go, because that's that surprise burst that they just don't see coming. And it's every 5 seconds that shit can proc. And Zons, however, is only 18 seconds, I think. Is it really weird? Yeah, so you don't use this 3 times a minute. Whereas Scoria ideally could proc 20 times. So Scoria is much more consistent, and it's less predictable. It's good and bad, because sometimes you can't really time your burst all well with it. But with a proc from Calorian and your meteor combo setup, this is just icing on the cake. You're not going to need much more burst damage than that. But anyways, yeah, you'll have a Resto Staff in the back bar. And as far as your skills are concerned, instead of Dark Conversion here, you'll be running Healing Ward, and this is kind of a flex spot. Your last spot, you don't have to run Balance anymore, because you have every Healing Ward for heals. You can run Streak, you can run Mines. It doesn't really matter. I personally prefer Streak on my front bar, and I take off the flame reach, so I just use streak as my CC. People play it differently. If you have the Master's Inferno staff, I mean, the flame clinch might be possible. Then again, you couldn't run the sets effectively. So if you do have the Master's Inferno staff and you want to use it with this build and have all the sets, you have to run Swordboard. If not, you just don't have enough slots otherwise. But this is the build I would run for open world. Maybe switch your Inner Light to Execute. It's entirely up to you. Crits are very important for this build, so I would suggest keeping the Inner Light. And then our back bar, like I said, you could put Dark Conversion or Mines or just whatever the hell you wanted here. In duels, if you're ever in duels against a stamina build, immediately take off Inner Light and just toss on Ellie Drain. Not only does Ellie Drain, give you a shit ton of recov. It's essentially a 600 Magicka recov, and the 5280 spell resistance debuff translates into about 10% worth of damage. So overall, this is better, assuming that the opponent doesn't have shields, than Inner Light. But if you just want consistent raw damage, then definitely slot Inner Light. And that it pretty much does it for the basics of what you have to know to this build before you run it. It's not a hard build at all. It pretty much does the work for you, and I'll show you in just a second. I'm gonna test it out on some let's test dummy here. I'm gonna show you how often Scoria actually does proc, because I get a lot of grief like, oh, you can't keep Scoria up, it's kind of waste, and you'll see really quick that it procs a lot more than you think. Well, I don't have fucking one dot on. It's already proc, I'm not doing anything. And there's a lot more synergies to this build, and as I come across them here on this test dummy, I'll explain them a little bit more. I just can't think of them right offhand, but oh shit, there we go. Okay, so your poisons proc Scoria, your poisons, is going to proc Scoria, your what the fuck, Asylum staff, shit. It applies the burning effect, which is also a dot, which can proc Scoria. Your Calorian's robe, shit. It can have a fire proc, which immediately implies the burning effect to them as well, I've noticed. So that's another dot. You have a lot of dots. So we're just gonna quickly see how often we keep Scoria. Right, there's one Scoria. Count 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. We should have another one here pretty soon. Yeah. Well, if we can get a poison to proc, jeez, there we go. Here comes Scoria. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here comes another Scoria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, see, there's another Scoria. So this stays up pretty much all the time. Now, my favorite thing about this build is definitely the set Calorian. Not only does it do this really badass damage, but it also let me zoom in here. Look how cool this shit looks. Get like these chalice lantern things that pop up, and you get really nice visual cues, like really evil laugh. Dude, it's fucking badass. I really love this set, and it does a lot of damage too. So this is not a lot of spell pin, but this is the raw damage it's going to do. So a disease tick did 13k to a target dummy, which that'll probably translate to like 5 or 6k in a duel against pretty geared people. Let's see if we can get another one going here. Of course, I didn't get any crits. See, the shock one did 15k. I think it goes up to 16k with the weapon proc. It's pretty dope. As far as the burst rotation is concerned, you just gotta keep track of your internal cooldowns. If you see your Calorian go off, you obviously don't want to start trying to burst your opponent now. The Calorian has a 10-second internal cooldown, so you need to try to keep that in mind when you're facing just anyone, not just duels, just in general. Just try to keep track of all these cooldowns. So you have the Scoria one, which is a 5-second cooldown. You have Calorian, which is a 10-second cooldown. So when you line up your burst combo, you definitely want to have that in mind. Good thing about Calorian is, as long as you get a crit, it's guaranteed proc. It's not like a chance. So when you're going in for your burst, hopefully you get a crit somewhere, and then this shit will proc in tandem with all your other abilities. So have your buff up, go and have your curse. Let's get a frag proc too. Well, see, now we gotta wait 10 seconds because we're fucking retarded. Let's get a frag proc here someday. Alright, go on curse. Alright, have your dots up. Alright. Curse, meteor, flame reach, and Scoria. And then all your shit's gonna proc. Right at the same time. You don't need an execute just because you do have the Scoria, you do have the Calorian, you even have the implosion passive. If all the stars do fucking align, and you're lucky enough to get an implosion proc from your Stormcaller passive as well. You can see there, 12, 13k worth damage. So that's pretty much it. You know, just keep a track of kind of the cooldowns in your head. Have your curse up, have your dots up. When you see Calorian go off, and it kind of counts to 5 seconds. And then around about that time, apply your curse, shoot your meteor, shoot a flame reach into a proc frag that you hopefully have one. Calorian's going to proc. And the icing on the cake, Scoria is off cooldown as well when it procs. And they're dead. It's pretty much dead. If you don't like Flame Reach, like I said, and because it's not super reliable, you can always switch it to Rim Cage. I just don't like it because it feels kind of clunky. Okay, has a mouthful. I think that about covers it, except for the CP tree. I mean, potions we're using, just just whatever you can afford. I'm pretty poor, so I use a trash mags, trash stand pots. Then, of course, the Witch Mother's Brew. Trying to think if there's anything I missed. Not really. This build pretty much applies the pressure. Say there's nothing special you have to do. You just gotta play the build, play the class. You know, just everything's set in place for you. Let's see, Square's already procking over fucking nothing. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Scoria, see, it's just insane. 3, 2, 1. Scoria again. See, there's actually 2 burning effects. I don't know if you all saw that. So you have to worry about dots, is what I'm trying to say. Scoria is hands down on this build the best. Alright, let's hop in the CP tree. The important one's a blue one. We're going pretty much super burst heavy on this. Since we're stacking a lot of crit, we have 72 points in Elfborn, 64 points in LE Expert. You don't want to put any more into this because of the diminishing returns are pretty horrendous. 32 in Spell Erosion. Put as many points into this as you can. 72 in the Master at Arms. It's pretty typical. You could put points in the Staff Expert and take a little bit out of Master at Arms and Elfborn, Spell Erosion, put them in either Staff Expert, Shattering Blows. But personally, this is what I prefer. I prefer consistent damage. Say if I put like 30 points into Shattering Blows, that's going to help me against like 2 classes, Sorcerers and Magnite Blades. So I like to be relevant against pretty much every class. Zero and Thaumaturge. It was a lot of dots, but not enough for this skill to be considered, in my opinion. 72 in Ironclad, since pretty much you're going to get hit by single targets. I mean, it's pretty much every skill in the game. If you get trained, you're going to be single targeted down. So have as many points as here as you can spare. I have 9 points in Resistance. Just cause. It's a little bit better than having absolutely none. I got 7 in the Hardy. This build is pretty much anti-stam. It really is. Like, between the status effects from the fucking Asylum staff, the burning effects from like 2 or 3 things that can probably give Calorian afflict them with status effects, every 10 seconds. Stamina builds really aren't too much of a concern unless they pressure you super hard. You're not able to go on the offense at all. Then you might run into some sustained issues. But as long as you can get on the offense and stay on the offense, there's nothing they can really do. We got 16 in Thick Skin, shit ton of dots this patch, just so many out there, so you gotta have some points in here. Then LE Expert, like I said, don't stack any more than 13% into these trees. The diminishing returns are horrendous. 72 points in the Bastion. We have a little bit lower mag than what we're used to. You know, most of my builds I usually have around like 46k max, and you really do feel that on this build. I hate to say it, I like to praise this build, but it does have its weaknesses. You know, you only have 41k max in your back bar, so your shields feel super weak. But hopefully you're not on your back bar too much. So that's kind of the reason we went on Divines as well, to kind of make up for our mag loss a little bit. I mean, it's not a lot, but yeah, we got 72 points in the Bastion because of that. 72 in the Warlord. This is essential. I'm reiterating myself, and I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing it. Low stam recovery. You gotta minimize that as much as possible. Your losses. 64 in Arcanist, 2% in Mooncalf. Don't put more than 64 in Arcanist. Just don't. Ring Tumbling. 23 points, 72 in the Shadow Ward. I find myself blocking a lot. I mean, not even meaning to. I animation cancel a lot, and you get hit in between animation cancels, and that counts as a block sometimes. So that's why I have that there. You don't want to tumble too much unless you're in open world. And just 2 in the Shade. This should actually be in Befoul, because you can actually defile someone with your Colorium with the disease proc. But oh well, that's fine. But does it for the CP tree. Yeah. Another thing to note, if you don't want to run poisons, I do suggest running a Flame or Shock enchantment on your Destro staff. That gives you just even more burst. So that's about an extra 2k burst against an opponent in Cyrodiil or whatever. You can run Shock if you want to try to get the concussion effect. But I personally like the flame damage enchant, especially since we're Dark Elf. It does more damage as well. And there's a lot of vampires, so keep that in mind. Some other good poisons, Dream Magicka poisons. You could run these as well. It's kind of sleazy, but you can. I mean, especially in BGs or open world, everything's fair game. I don't care how cheesy you are. Duel's different story on the other hand. I mean, there's a little bit of respect that goes on. But that about does it for the build, guys. Sorry it's pretty winded. I just kind of want to cover everything, the burst rotations, the sets, all the skills. I think pretty much everything's where it needs to be. If you have any questions about how you get your skeleton to look like this, it's a bug right now. I'm not sure if it's intended, but all you have to do is, of course, have your polymorph on, where the shit that is. Your skeleton polymorph. And then just equip a skin. I'm not sure if other people can see this, but you can for right now. I think it looks badass. It's pretty dope. I'm not sure how many different things you do it with. I think it only works with the skeleton. I don't think it works with many of the other polymorphs, but it definitely works with the skeleton. I think it's pretty cool. I wish they'd leave it in the game. Except your face kind of looks like Fabio. You're like an undead Fabio. He's got the massive jawline and anyway. Alright guys, that does it for the video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it. If you have any questions about it, leave it in the comments. If you like the video, like it so I know what I'm doing is needed or wanted. If I'm not doing something right or there's something I can improve on, please leave it in the comments. I'm open to criticism, and that's the best way to improve. I thought about using the whole face cam and shit for this, but you guys aren't here for that. You guys are here for pretty decent sword build. And if you guys have followed my channel, I know who I am. I come out with some pretty unorthodox builds, but they work out. Just a little bit of practice. Yeah, I'll have some gameplay footage for you guys here in the next week or so. Sorry I haven't time to do that. It's just kind of laggy right now, where DLC did just drop. So open world's kind of laggy. It's really the time of day you need to play to get a really nice crisp connection. But usually when I'm on, that's not happening. Usually it's like rush hour. Servers are pretty full. But it does it for the build, guys. Like I said, any questions, just leave them down in the comments. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.